Hey guys, welcome back to Intuitive Angling, and appreciate you guys swinging by the channel today. Guys, got a good shaky head tip for y'all today. We're going to be talking about how to manipulate and how to put action on a shaky head to get the most amount of bites on it. There's several different things that you can do that will actually generate a reaction strike from a shaky head. A lot of people don't do it, so I'm going to show you what that is today. Give you guys some good tips and advice on it, because we are right in the middle of the prime shaky head season right now. At the time of filming this video, third week of April, great time of year to fish shaky head. So got some good tips for y'all today. And guys, the shaky head I'll be talking about is this new Zoom thick trick worm that Zoom just came out with, guys. I'll link this in my Tackle Warehouse link in the description if you'd like to try this. It's sort of like in between the size of a trick worm, which is one of my favorite shaky head worms, and a soft plastic stick bait. It's a little bit fatter than a regular trick worm. So I'll put that thick trick worm in my description, along with the heads that I use and the line that I use for my shaky head fishing. So all that stuff will be in the description of the video. And also, guys, real quick, we do have just another week left in the sale on my Solar Bat series, my Solar Bat Signature Series glasses, my RB2s and 3s. We've got 3 different frame sizes, bunch of different lens color options. If you use the promo code RandyB, you get 30% off. So I'll put the Solar Bat link in the description of this video if you guys would like to pick up a pair. The high contrast yellow lens is probably my favorite there, so appreciate that. Okay guys, this is probably my favorite bait to fish this time of year in the springtime is the shaky head. Shaky head is deadly for catching not only numbers of fish, but guys, it catches good ones. It's one of those baits that when the fish get in sort of the frame of mind they are in this time of year, when they're in and around that spawning phase, a shaky head is a great bait to catch numbers and size. There's probably not another lure out there this time of year that catches both, you know, lots of fish and good ones at the same time. And you can catch a 20-pound bag on a shaky head, and also you can catch 50 fish on it at the same time. Very few lure categories you can say that, but that's one of the things that's unique about a shaky head. And also, you know, I don't really understand fully why a shaky head is so much more effective than like a Texas rig or a jighead worm at certain times of the year. But because before we had shaky heads, we fished Texas rigs in these same type of areas. But there's just something about the presentation with the jig head. I'm not really sure what it is. It's something the bass would probably have to tell you, but just get a lot of bites with that. So the video today, guys, is I want to talk about how I put action on a shaky head in order to get the most amount of bites on it. Now, before I get into this, I'll just say that a shaky head is probably one of the most user-friendly baits. If you just throw it out there and keep it on the bottom, you've got a chance of catching a fish. But there's some things that you can do on a shaky head that will generate more strikes, you know, day in and day out. There's just sort of a system that I use based upon, you know, what I'm trying to accomplish that particular day. So first of all, excuse me, one of the things that you got to realize about a shaky head is shaky head being a slow bait. It's a bait that the fish get close to, and you don't even know they're getting close to it. I can tell you, if you're, say for example, if you're in an area that's got some bass on it, like you're fishing a nice secondary point that's leading into a spawning cove, when that shaky head's on the bottom like that, and you're working that shaky head on the bottom, there's a ton. As soon as that shaky head hits the bottom, and they hear the thing hit the bottom, which they can hear it from a long way away, they're going to come swimming over to it. And this is what you have to picture when you're working that shaky head. Picture this bass swimming over to your shaky head and studying it, and they'll get all around it and they'll look at it like that. One of the first things that you can do, guys, is you want to use scent on your shaky head. I use this bait pop scent here. It's got amino acids in it, real fish scent. I'll put this bait pop link in the description of this video too. Rub it on the worm. Therefore, when you have this fish's nose looking at that worm, it'll smell alive instead of just like plastic. Fish scent on any type of a slow lure will definitely help you get more bites. That's the first thing. Second thing you have to do, okay, you figure this bait is down on the bottom. What do you have to do to generate that strike from the bass? So you have to look at it from a bass's perspective. Now, I have worked a shaky head and experimented every possible way that you could work a shaky head, from dragging to popping to hopping to twitching, everything. You know, we have a lot of good shaky head water here in Missouri, and I'm going to show you the #1 technique this time of year that will get a lot of bites on a shaky head. First of all, one of the things that will help you on this is you want to try to use as light as head as you want. I don't hardly ever go over 1/8 of an ounce. In fact, 99% of the time I'm using a 1/16 or an 1/8. The only time I use an 1/8 ounce is if I'm super windy or if I'm fishing a little bit deeper. Most of the time I'm fishing a 16. The reason I do that is when you put action on a shaky head with a light sinker on there, it looks more lifelike. It's just a lot more natural looking. So try to go with a light sinker if you can, 1/8 ounce or less. Okay, so make your cast out there. This is one thing you want to do. Make your cast out there with the shaky head. Let it go to the bottom. And once it hits the bottom, one of the first things I like to do as soon as it hits the bottom is I pop it just one time. So I'm going to pop it where the bait comes up high like that. Now, the only reason I do this is I'm trying to get the attraction of a bass from the noise from a long way away. So if that bait hits the bottom and I pop it, you know, just the movement through the water, visual or whatever, it could possibly attract some fish. I'm going to pop it one time, and then once it hits the bottom, I'm going to shake it. Maybe, probably, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just with a slight wrist action, just like what it says, shaky head. And you're wanting to vibrate that bait where it's just sort of like, I guess what it would look like in the water, it would just be sort of like, it's just gonna be going like this. You're not reeling. You're shaking this with your reel stationary. You're not moving it at all. After you shake it about 10 times, what you want to do is just pull your wrist back and drag it, you know, up to 12 o'clock. So if I'm shaking it, my rod's at the 10 o'clock position, I'm going to drag it up to the 12 o'clock position like that. And then I'm going to take up the slack, and then I'm going to shake it another 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Drag it like that. Now, that combination of the twitching and dragging is the thing that's going to get you a lot of bites. And there's two different ways they're going to hit it. They're either going to hit it when you're shaking it. You're just going to shake it and shake it and shake it, and all of a sudden you're going to feel your line get tight. Or when you pull it like that, you're going to feel your line just lift up and see your line swimming out. About 50-50 on how they hit that. But that shaking and dragging technique is the main thing that gets a lot of bites for me. I don't hop a shaky head very much. It's not, I hop a jig quite a bit, and I'll hop a plastic worm, but there's something about a shaky head that I want to keep it on the bottom more than anything else. That's just what gets me a lot of bites. It's a pretty simple technique, but it works for me. And another thing, I'll tell you one thing about a shaky head, guys. A shaky head, you can lose a lot of fish on a shaky head, and a lot of it has to do with how you rig the bait. When you're rigging a shaky head, make sure that, you know, you don't ever want, and this is pretty basic here, but I just want to refresh. You don't ever want to just come through and put it in the middle of the worm like that. It's going to make it too weedless. You always want to come through the entire worm and make a channel. Just go back and forth like that, make a channel. And then if you can get by with it, see how I got the hook just sticking out like that? This is how you want to fish it if you can get by with it. I mean, if you're fishing a fairly clean bottom, like just a point or some type of rocky bank, you'd be surprised how weedless it is like this. You know, if you're in an area that's got, you know, a lot of snags and stick-ups, you know, you may have to bury it back down in there a little bit. But most of the time, if I can get by with it, that's how I want it. You're going to get a lot better hooks. And then sometimes I'll just have to put it just back in like that if it's snaggy. So that's the important thing to remember there. And here's the most important part of it on a hook set with a shaky head. It's like on a shaky head, when you're shaking it like that and you get the bite, you know, you need to hesitate and do not set the hook quick, because a lot of times on a shaky head, the fish will bite the tail of the worm and they won't get the hook in it. I've seen them do this. I've seen them bite the thing and carry it down the bank in clear water. So when you get that bite on a shaky head, keep shaking it. Okay, say for example, I'm working it, I got a bite. I know there's one on there, I can see my line swimming out. Just keep shaking it like that for about 2 or 3 seconds and let that fish swim a couple feet. And if you keep shaking it while that bass has it in its mouth, it's gonna think that worm is trying to get away from it, so it'll eat it a little bit deeper. So after you shake it a few times like that, then you can reel down, set the hook on a tight line, don't ever set it on a slack line, and just reel back into it and start reeling. Not real hard because, you know, you're using a light line, but that is something that works really good for me. So anyway, guys, good time of year to fish it. If you've never fished a shaky head this time of year, really good time to do it. Again, I'll put everything in my Tackle Warehouse link in the description, everything you need to get set up with shaky head fishing. Hope it helps you guys out.